Well, hello and welcome to this English lesson about the World Cup. If you weren't aware, the World Cup is happening right now, and it's happening in North America. And I thought it would be a good idea to do an English lesson about the World Cup. I might even do a second English lesson about the World Cup later this month, because there are a lot of words and phrases in English that you'll need to know if you're watching an English broadcast of a World Cup game. Now, I know you can probably watch games in your own language, but if you want a little challenge during the World Cup and you like watching soccer, sorry, I'm going to use the word soccer a lot because in North America, we call football soccer. Uh, Challenge yourself by trying to find a game and watching it in English with English announcers and broadcasters. So, once again, welcome to this English lesson about the World Cup. I think you will enjoy it, and I think it will be good for you as you go through this month watching a whole lot of soccer. Host nation. Now, I should probably say host nations for this event. The host nation is the country or countries where the tournament takes place. So currently, the host nations for the World Cup are Canada, Mexico, and the United States. And they're actually playing in a number of host cities. So this is a bonus slide. You get to learn two things at once. The host cities in Canada are Toronto and Vancouver. And I'm not going to list all of the other host cities. So when you're watching a game, you might wonder what host nation is this game in and what host city is this game in. So host nation, the country or countries where the tournament takes place. Reigning champion or defending champion. Now you could also make this plural. You can say reigning champions or defending champions. Both work. I don't know why, but you could say, who are the defending champions? Or who's the reigning champion right now? And I'm not sure what team this is. Sorry. I'm going to teach you the English phrase to play dumb. When you play dumb, it means you pretend you don't know an answer when you do know it. But the reigning champion or defending champion is the team that won the most recent tournament. So yeah, I think I know who that is. Who's that player there? Is that Messi? Is this Argentina? Is this the 2022 World Cup Championship where I was sad because I was cheering for France, but I was also happy because Messi got to win a World Cup? Anyways, reigning champion or defending champion, the team that won the most recent tournament. Powerhouse, a team that is consistently strong and successful. Équipe de France. There's a big clue there, isn't there? So there are some teams in the world of soccer, in the world of football, that are considered powerhouse teams. They seem to be able to always have a team that has the possibility of winning the tournament, of winning the World Cup. So when you're a powerhouse, it means your team has a lot of really good players. It means that you win a lot of your matches when you are playing the game. So powerhouse. I think Team France is a powerhouse team, a team that is consistently strong and successful. Now we have the word underdog, which is a team that is not expected to win. So this is Team Canada. And I have to be careful how I say this because I think I explained it really well in my earlier video this week. I am very much on fire for Team Canada, but I am also a realist, and I realize they are not the top pick for winning the entire tournament. I think we're going to have some really good games in the tournament, but we are considered an underdog, a team that is not expected to win. So, and they know this because they look at stats. They look at past performance. They look at who has which players on their team. So definitely France is considered a powerhouse and Canada is considered an underdog for this tournament. Diehard fan, a fan who supports a team with great passion and loyalty. And there's another little part to this definition that isn't mentioned. A diehard fan is a fan who is a fan even when their team loses. So if your team loses almost every game in a season, a diehard fan will keep watching the games and keep going to the games. So diehard fan, a fan who supports a team with great passion and loyalty. A more milder term is just supporter, a person who cheers for a specific team. So what team are you going to cheer for this year? What team are you going to support? Oh, I'm a supporter of Team France. I'm a supporter of Team Canada. So supporter, a person who cheers for a specific team. Watch party. So a watch party is an interesting thing. Not everyone can go to the actual game. There aren't enough seats, and also the seats are very, very expensive. So what happens is people will organize watch parties. So a watch party is a gathering where people watch a game together on a large screen or TV. So I could host my own watch party. I could invite friends over and say, let's have a watch party and watch the Canada game today. By the way, if you're wondering who played yesterday, Mexico won yesterday, South Korea won yesterday. And then today we have Canada versus Bosnia and Herzegovina. Starts at 3 p.m. today. So better make sure I'm on time and ready for that watch party. Again, if you weren't paying attention, I'm going to a watch party later today to watch Canada play Bosnia Herzegovina. Team spirit. So I have team spirit because I'm wearing a Canada soccer shirt. Team spirit is enthusiasm and support for a team by its fans. So when you have team spirit, especially for the World Cup, you will probably have your country's flag. You might have a little one. Even if you're watching on TV, you might have a little flag. You'll definitely wear a shirt representing your team and your country if you have team spirit. So team spirit, enthusiasm and support for a team by its fans. Now, what's different about this tournament and what makes it more similar to the Olympics is there will be a lot of national pride. National pride is the feeling of pride people have for their country. So sometimes when you watch professional sports, there aren't any countries involved. It's just a professional football league or a professional hockey league. But sometimes, like with the Olympics and the World Cup, the teams are representing a country. And so there is going to be, there will be a lot of national pride. As I head out later today, I will probably see cars with Canada flags on them. I will probably see a lot of people wearing Canada shirts. And what's interesting about Canada is you'll also see people flying flags from other countries on their vehicles because many people have immigrated to Canada from different parts of the world. So often during the World Cup, Canada does not have a team. We're allowed to have a team this year because we're hosting. And so people will cheer for the team of the country where they originally came from or where their family came from. So you'll see cars with little flags from the Netherlands or Italy. Unfortunately, I'm not supposed to talk about this, but Italy isn't playing this year. It's unfortunate. But you'll see a lot of people will fly a flag of the country they are originally from. Rivalry, a long-standing competition between two teams. So in any sport, eventually rivalries develop. Some might be historic rivalries. Some might just be a rivalry, just using the term in general, but it is a long-standing excitement and competition and maybe annoyance and a desire to win even more when you play that team. So there might be a long-standing rivalry between these two teams. I have no idea what teams these are. Isn't that illegal to push someone? I'm not sure what's happening here, but if you know what, again, remember I said I was going to talk about or give examples of the verb playing dumb. So I have done my research, and if you want to guess which teams those are, you should guess. But rivalry, kind of a hard English word to say, a long-standing competition between two teams. A chant. So a very common chant in soccer is, I think, is it like the melody from Seven Nation Army from the White Stripes is like do 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 do, and then hopefully I don't get a copyright. Was I on key? I'm gonna get a copyright strike. But you'll often hear fans like boo, doo, 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 and the whole stadium will do it. a repeated phrase or song sung by fans to support a team. So it doesn't always have to be a song, but usually it is. Hopefully no one brings those, what were those horns in the South Africa team fans had the one year? That was very annoying. Anyways, a chant, a repeated phrase or song sung by fans to support a team. Mascot, a character or animal that represents a team or event. So here we have the 3 mascots for the World Cup 2026. We have, I believe, Maple. I've had notes here on the mascot names. I know the Canadian one is Maple. So we have, let's see here. Maple, Zayu, and Clutch. Did I get that right? Is that for 2026? That's what AI is telling me. Maple, Zayu, and Clutch. There we go. Oh, Clutch, because it's an eagle. Oh, I get it. There we go. Anyways, a mascot is a fun character or animal that represents a team or event. So I'm sure you will see these mascots a number of times during the tournament. Face paint. So colored designs painted on a person's face to show support for a team. You might even get like little temporary stickers or tattoos of, like, I could put the Canada flag on each cheek, right? And then I could be like, have my little Canadian flag, and then I would be super excited. So face paint is obviously removable. You can wash it off, but they are colored designs on a person's face to show support for a team. Sold out crowd, a crowd at an event where all tickets have been purchased. So a couple months ago, I went to see a women's professional soccer game at BMO Field. By the way, the field where they're playing the World Cup, it's the letters BMO. It's BMO Field. We don't say BMO Field. We say BMO Field, just so you know if you hear the announcer saying it. We went there and they had constructed extra seating. This isn't it. I think this is Soldier Field in the US, actually. I think this is a game between the US and Germany or something. Was there like a preliminary game just for fun or something like that? I could be totally wrong. Anyways, a sold out crowd, a crowd at an event where all tickets have been purchased. At BMO Field in Toronto, they've added extra seating, and I'm not sure how many people can go now, but the tickets are just sold out, and they're very, very expensive if you want to go see an actual game. Now we're getting into the actual words for the tournament. So the qualifying stage is the first stage, and it's actually before the tournament. It's the time before the main tournament where teams try to earn a place in the tournament. So this year, or in the past year and a bit, teams have been playing in their local leagues, in their continent, in their area of the world. And as they do that, they gain certain wins. They gain wins and certain points that will allow them to qualify for the World Cup. So some countries have been are very saddened because their team did not qualify to actually be in the tournament. So even though this isn't an actual stage of the tournament, which started yesterday, this is how you qualify for the World Cup. At some point in the last few months, you had to be good enough so that you would be allowed to play in the tournament. The group stage. So the group stage is the first round where teams play other teams in their group. So right now we are in the group stage. The group stage is where you're in a group with 4 teams, yourself and 3 other teams. You see how I did math there? And you will get a chance to play every team once. And I think it's the top 2 teams from each group that will move on. And I do want to talk a little bit about seeding. I don't have a slide for seeding, but seeding is when they determine what your chance is or how good your team is as compared to the other teams. So you might go into a tournament seeded number 1. This means that the expectation is that you will win most of the games, and your current record before the tournament is that you are a very good team. If you go in seeded number 40, It probably means you haven't won a lot of games in the last year. You won enough games to qualify for the tournament, but you're seated very low. So what happens in the group stage is they try to divide people up based on how good the team is to make it fair. So generally, there's one team in every group that everyone expects to win the group stage. And then there's 3 other teams where there's a pretty clear idea who will get second, but maybe one of the underdogs will also win. So the group stage, the first round where teams play other teams in their group. We're group B, it looks like. Round robin. So the group stage is called round robin because it's a format where every team plays against every other team in the group. And this can be for World Cup. This can even be for a pickleball tournament. You might go to a pickleball tournament and they say it's round robin. You're going to be in a group with 8 teams and you will get a chance to play every team once. So here it says how it works. Each team plays every other team one time. There are no elimination rounds. So round robin can be for the whole tournament or just that stage. 3, teams earn points based on their results. The team with the most points at the end wins the tournament. So that would be if the entire tournament was was round robin. But the World Cup isn't. Just the group stage is round robin. And then you move into a knockout stage. The knockout stage is the part of the tournament where the losing team in each game is eliminated. We also call this sudden death. So sometimes it's like if you lose, you're out. Like that is not a nice feeling when you are playing a sport. So the knockout stage, I think it goes from, there's a knockout stage with 32 teams coming up, and then there will be another knockout stage with 16 teams. Now, I do want to mention, I'm talking about stages. In English, we sometimes use the word round as well. So you have the group stage. Someone might say the group round. Sounds a little weird, but you should know what they're talking about. You can see it in the definition, the first round. Someone might say the knockout round, which means the same thing as the knockout stage. So there are 2 words that you can use interchangeably for those 2 things. So knockout stage 32, knockout stage of 16 teams. And then we have the phrase to advance to the next round or to make it through to the next round. That means to continue in the tournament after winning. So when you're in a tournament and you get to the point where you're in the knockout stage or you're in the only winners move on, we use the verb to advance. Okay, so here we have, I think this is a thumbnail from someone saying the odds to advance from group. And then they're showing some teams here. I have no idea what teams these are. But they're going in that video to talk about who will advance to the next round or who will make it through to the next round. And I guess you'll kind of have to wait to see because we don't know yet. Quarterfinals, the round with 8 teams competing for a place in the semifinals. So if we go back to the knockout stage, I know the boxes this picture kind of bothers me, but it's the only one I could find that kind of showed it. Eventually, after you do 32, and then you have 16, and then eventually you have 8 teams. So the round with 8 teams competing for a place in the semifinals. Now, do not mistake this for the current one. This is from 2022. You can see here that France was on its way to the finals. They had 1 game to beat against England that they had to beat them. And then you can see that Argentina simply needed to beat the boys in orange from the Netherlands to make it through. And then, of course, after that, after the quarterfinals, which is the round with 8 teams competing for a place in the semifinals, you have the semifinals. So this is the round with 4 teams competing for a place in the finals. Now, I'm not sure if this term is used around the world, but in basketball in North America, we often say Final Four. They're in the Final Four. And that has progressed, I think, to other sports. I think the origin was in basketball. So when you get to the semifinals, you might hear someone say they made it to the Final Four. They're in the Final Four. And who did we have here? Oh yeah, was it Morocco, Croatia, France, and Argentina? See, I do know something. There we go. And then of course you have the finals. which is the last match between two teams that determines the champion. So every team in the tournament right now hopes to make it to the finals. They hope to advance through every round, to advance through every stage. They hope to make it through to the next round every time they play, once they get past the round robin group stage. And they hope to make it to the finals. And then, of course, they hope that they will win the finals. Momentum. So in sport, momentum is the feeling that a team is gaining confidence and playing better. So let's say the game is tied 1-1 and the other team scores a goal just before the halftime. They go into the second half of the game with momentum. They're excited because they scored a goal. They're excited because now they're winning 2-1. And momentum is hard to describe. It's kind of a feeling. It's kind of an emotion. It's having a lot of energy and feeling really good because you just did something good. And so when a team has momentum, it can be hard to stop them. In the last NBA game, the Knicks were down at one point by almost 30 points, I think. But eventually they started to come back and then they started to gain momentum and they ended up winning the game. Unfortunately, I went to bed. Sportsmanship, showing fairness, respect, and good behavior in sports. So if you fall on the ground in a soccer game, and if the person from the other team helps you get up, that is considered good sportsmanship. If you lose a game, and in the interview afterwards, you praise the other team for being a better team, that is good sportsmanship. So it's being kind, acting with fairness and respect when you are playing a sport, sportsmanship. And I don't know who that is on the ground. It might be the person that was mentioned earlier, but we probably recognize the other guy there. An upset. So an upset is a surprising result where a weaker team defeats a stronger team. So yes, I did delve into the world of AI to create this photo. Canada wins World Cup game versus Brazil. So this would be an upset. If at some point in the tournament, Canada was playing against a powerhouse team like France or Brazil or Argentina, Canada would be considered the underdog. But if Canada won, it would be considered an upset because the entire world expected the other team to win. Even when you looked at who had the best players, sometimes we say on paper, the other team was supposed to win. That means they're looking at the records of the teams and the players and who has all the better players. So on paper, it might say Brazil should win. But if there's an upset, then Canada wins. Highlight reel, a collection of the best moments from a game or tournament. This is how many people around the world are going to be watching many parts of the World Cup for two reasons. Number one, because of the time difference, not everyone will be able to watch the games live. And so you might just have to watch a highlight reel the next day. The second reason is that there are so many games, you don't actually have time to watch all the games. I mean, if there's 21 games happening over the next few days, you don't have time to watch that much soccer. That would be crazy. So you might watch your favorite team play. You might watch another team that you are interested in because a player from your country happens to be on that team as well for some reason. But mostly you will probably watch highlight reels. So a highlight reel, a collection of the best moments from a game or tournament. And then we have global audience, an audience that includes people from all over the world. There are really only a few things that draw a global audience. World Cup draws a global audience. The Olympics draws a global audience. Women's World Cup draws a global audience. The Paralympics draws a global audience. It's not often that we have an opportunity to show national pride and team spirit when we compete against other people from other countries. So World Cup definitely, this is the graph I was talking about. World Cup definitely has like the biggest numbers when it comes to the amount of people watching it. Definitely a global